Oi, oi, alright, how's it going? I'm Grant, you're you. This is DETOUR Review. It's Sunday Jazz Club, but today, I'll be honest, the album isn't really all that jazz. I've included it because there are albums I really want to talk about that, while not technically jazz, scratch a similar itch for me. They're probably instrumental or experimental in nature, and well, Sunday Jazz Club just has a ring to it, and I don't want to change it. If you try this out and you normally like the albums featured in this series, I think there's probably a good chance you'll enjoy it. So James Elkington is the songwriter in question, and more importantly a guitarist, technically born in the UK but actually might identify more as a native of Chicago, having moved to the US city as soon as he was able to. His intention coming to the city in the late 90s was to establish a position within the city's vibrant guitar-based music scene. As a dynamic and incredibly technically proficient folk guitarist who's able to play in a range of patterns and styles, it really wasn't long until Elkington did exactly that. Over the years, he supported many local artists from the area, including Wilco, Jeff Tweedy and Tortoise. In 2017, after having been a collaborator for many years, Elkington finally released a solo album of his own, Wintress Woma. A few years later, Ever Roving Eye followed, and just at the end of last year we got this, Me Neither, a double LP of progressive folk-leaning instrumental pieces. The album's a fantastic showcase of Elkington's capabilities on the acoustic guitar, presenting a total of 29 tracks, vignettes, sketches and full-fledged instrumental pieces across a wide variety of playing styles. Generally speaking, the songs fall into mostly two categories. There are pieces built around an acoustic loop, and then others that have more of what I would call like a long-form narrative, where the acoustic guitar manages to tell a story by weaving different figures around a chord progression or structure. Contact Twig Estrangement is a great example of what I would call a loop track. The piece begins with some percussion, almost like the microphone or studio objects kind of knocking against the guitar as Elkington sets up, before this hypnotic arpeggiated loop comes in. The guitar sounds double tracked, playing through both channels, and that stereo effect enhances the hypnotism. Occasionally Elkington breaks from the loop and actually takes us down a spooky kind of minor scale deviation that actually reminded me of like a metal band like Mastodon. The 100-Faced Magma is a great example of one of the more longer form pieces of guitar storytelling. Elkington's amazing finger-picking techniques are really put centre stage here with minimal layering to distract you. Whereas that track almost has a classical guitar flavour to it, Every Second Morning stands out on the album as this actually has a bit of a swing to the playing of that riff. It's still rooted in progressive folk but has a head-nodding kind of blues aspect to it. Scattered across the 29 tracks, there are also some pieces that could fit in a third category, next to loops and long-form pieces, and I would call them weird tracks. Some more ambient, others just use unusual techniques. The Home Counties is a strummed track with lots of layers, but it includes what sounds like some out of tune or super buzzy guitars are used, giving this kind of a disruptive flavour to this part of the album. It also introduces an electric guitar, which is a rare but not completely unusual occurrence on the record. Also fitting into this weird category is Section 2. This is an ambient dark piece with these really abstract noises that sound almost like concrete blocks knocking together, like a construction site or a factory recorded and then slowed down and put in the background, providing an oddly soothing ambience on the record. When I listened to this, I found myself questioning why I liked it so much, yet why I was so disappointed by another album from last year, who also came from a singer-songwriter releasing an instrumental album, Mac DeMarco and his 5 Easy Hot Dogs record. While there was nothing bad per se about that instrumental guitar-based record, I just felt that so many of the tracks really were just garage band loops, and I think why I prefer this album from James Elkington is because even when exploring loops, he's consistently finding ways to kind of progress the piece forward somehow, or if not, just end it quickly. The variations between loops, long form and sporadic weird ambient pieces also keeps this quite relaxing album so consistently engaging. Overall, I'd hit this with a solid 7. If you like instrumental music or folk or both, I'd definitely recommend trying this out. But alright, that's enough from me. Go check this album out, run right back and then tell me what you think. Subscribe, share some thoughts or show some love, and I'll see you back here next week for more Sunday Jazz Club. Cheers mate.